Welcome to the Art of Being Happy, Buddha's Guide to Modern Living from Jethavanarama Buddhist Monastery, Sri Lanka. This intriguing talk series brings timeless Buddhist wisdom to help you navigate life's challenges through simple, practical insights. Each episode offers gentle guidance for finding peace and joy in everyday moments. Join us on this journey toward lasting happiness and inner peace. Brought to you by Sanathanavani, the voice eternal.
Enjoy the lifestyle of a layperson, perfectly fine. But begin to adopt the attitudes of a monk. What I shared with you was one of those attitudes. We give, expecting nothing in return. Isn't that a good philosophy of life? Because when you expect something, isn't there the opportunity for something much worse than that? It starts with a D, ends with a T. What do you think it is? Disappointment. You know how the word is made up? When you make an appointment and it is dissed. To diss something is when it's not kept to. When someone ignores or neglects it. So when an appointment is dissed, that's a disappointment. An appointment that you mentally keep with something or someone, you're just asking for trouble when you do that. So adopt that as a philosophy in life. Try to do it. Begin with the small things in life. But if someone says thank you, you don't have to say don't mention it. I'm not a big fan of that either. Because when someone is grateful for something, that's a virtue. Gratitude is a virtue. If someone says thank you, say wholeheartedly, you're welcome. Allow them the privilege to say thank you. Because in this day and age, ladies and gentlemen, most people don't know that they even have to be grateful. Because where does food come from? The kitchen, right? Yeah, that's what's happened to our country. What people don't understand is how the food got to the kitchen. That is why gratitude is lost. When we drive around, as we pass the villages, sometimes we see the paddy fields. You have no idea how much I think of those farmers. It is down to their sweat, toil, and tears that today we have a full stomach. 500 rupees cannot buy you a meal. That's the price you pay at the shop. But for 500 rupees, do you think they're going to go and plow the fields for you? And till the soil for you? And sow the seeds for you? And reap the crop for you? Do you think for 500 rupees they're going to do all that? Of course not. I say 500 because that's the last time I bought something for. I don't know how much is how much is a meal these days. More like 50,000? I have no idea. Thanks to you, I don't know how much things cost these days. I don't know how much a bottle of water costs these days. So right, 500 rupees. You can't. You think they can transport all that from the paddy field to the shop where you went and bought it for 500 rupees? No, then you will tell me, Swaminathan, but that's collective buying power. Yeah. You know too much for your own good, that's what. When the waiter at a restaurant comes to you and brings the bill, right? And you pay the bill, why do you normally tip the waiter? Why? Today, it may be because it's customary. It's customary to tip the waiter. It's rude not to. Perhaps that is why today some people do that. But I think we don't need to be so narrow-minded about it. Let's understand why we do that. One can serve, but serving with a smile is something else. What you have, ladies and gentlemen, is a waiter who is just as human as you are, so they have the same problems that you do. Today you have come to the restaurant to eat because your wife decided she wasn't going to cook for you. Perhaps because you said something nasty, and she said, fine, go eat yourself then. He's also a married man, that waiter. He's also got children. He's also got problems. He also goes through the same vicissitudes in life as you do, but still, he wears a smile on his face to delight you. You pay what it says on the bill for the food. You tip the waiter because you can't give enough for the smile that he puts on his face. to delight you. Service with a smile. That in itself it's not just a smile. Think about the feeling behind the smile. Some might do it because, they're expected to at the job. You have to serve with a smile. But I don't think everyone's like that. I think there are people out there, professionals out there, good, hardworking people out there who serve with a smile because they care. Aren't you someone like that? So are you the only people in the world who are like that? No, if there's one like you, there's more like you. There'll be teachers here. You teach your subject matter to your students. But don't you do it with a smile? That smile may not be very obvious on your face, but there's always a smile in your heart because you care. How do you pay for that? What is the currency to pay for that? How do you reconcile that account? You might think, Swaminatha, what are you talking about? You're not going to talk to us about Nibbana today. This is Nibbana. This is practical Nibbana. You read the sign out there, right? What did it say? A step by step. What approach? Practical approach to Nibbana. Nibbana is not a scholar's job. You can't be a scholar and go to Nibbana, where you can be a scholar in something else. But when it comes to Nibbana, you can't take a scholarly approach to it. You have to take a practical approach to it. Because you see, Nibbana is not something that you can go and get. Nibbana is something that comes to you when you are ready. So in the books of the Tripitaka, you're not going to find Nibbana. You'll be like, what? But isn't that where it is contained, all the scriptures, all the sayings of the Buddha? Yes. If that were the case, everyone who's been involved in printing the Tripitaka, typesetting the Tripitaka, binding the Tripitaka, packaging it, boxing it and selling it, they should all have become Arahants by now, shouldn't they? If Nibbana is in the Tripitaka, it's not enough to read the letter. You have to get the essence of it. You've all read, what do you call them, self-help, positive thinking books? Most of you will have Stephen Covey's, the likes of him, Zig Ziglar, these people who've gifted mankind with thinking behaviors and patterns that are conducive to one's productivity. They wrote the book, fair enough. But what about the people who typeset it? How to become a millionaire? There'll be a book typeset by a poor person. I have a point. How to become a millionaire? There's someone who proofreads it. If he were a millionaire, he wouldn't be there proofreading it. He'd be making his millions. I've not seen a millionaire proofreading a book before it goes to the press. So do you see, reading it letter by letter is not sufficient for someone to become the essence of what those words contain, because it's an internal transformation. A million is what comes to you when you have the mindset of a millionaire. It's not something you go after. Folks, if I charged you for this stuff, you'd be bankrupt by now. Won't you agree? These are the kind of things, I'm talking things related to Nibbana, but I'm actually not really talking to you the spice or the essence of Nibbana just yet. But I will get to that. Okay, but the things I'm sharing with you, especially to have young children here, good Lord, how fortunate they are, dear parents. You have been very wise to bring them along. These young minds, to hear these things, you have to go to seminars and pay top dollar to listen to these things. I'm not even talking about Buddhist philosophy here. I'm talking about philosophies for life. You have to speak to a millionaire, to a billionaire, and they'll teach you how to become a billionaire. A millionaire is not someone who goes after the million. He waits, and the million comes to him. We don't work hard, we work smart. That's why in life, as my mother once taught me, you don't get what you desire, you get what you deserve. When you are deserving of something, it comes to you. How does the wind blow? How does the wind blow? When there's an area of low pressure, you don't have to go get the wind. It comes to you. Meaning, when you are deserving of something, it comes to you. There's plenty in this world. They're just flowing from hand to the hand that deserves it. Nibbana is the same. There is Nibbana everywhere. It's just next to you, see? I can see it from here, can't you? It's right under your nose. Have a feel. I don't know whether that is why some people breathe in and breathe out. Nibbana is right under your nose. It's just there. So why have I not yet attained Nibbana, you might ask? Because first you have to become deserving of it. Have you ever heard the saying, the Buddha or the Bodhisattva sat under the Bodhi tree where he found Nibbana or where he realized Nibbana? He realized Nibbana. So he didn't find it at the tree, at the root of the tree, did he? He realized it. You find something you don't have. You realize something that you have. You realize, okay, I have it. I've always had it. That is what Nibbana is. So you see, I'm not here, I don't bring Nibbana from the monastery and give it to you. It's not in the sandwiches that you get in the afternoon. We don't pack it up in the sandwiches. I don't have it with me, it's not in this fan. So when I bless you, you don't get a bit of Nibbana. So you don't have to come and sit where you feel the wind blowing on the fan. No. I don't bring Nibbana with me. I help you realize it because you bring it with you. You bring Nibbana with you. You've got it with you right now. So please don't give me the credit of giving you Nibbana. I can't give it to you. I can only help you realize it. But to realize it, we must become deserving of it. And then we begin to realize. For that, an internal transformation has to happen. Our thinking patterns must change. Do you know why rich people are rich? Did I ask you this question last week? No. Maybe somewhere else, because I've been doing a few sermons in some schools lately. So I've been talking to some grade 9s. I asked them, you want to become rich, Dua, one day, yeah? She said, yes. I said, why are rich people rich? She said, because they have money. I said, no, Dua. If you think rich people are rich because they have money, right? If someone takes on board that mindset, do you know what they'll be doing from then on? They'll go looking for money. They'll kill for money. They'll steal for money because the possession of money, if they believe, is what makes someone rich. That is wrong. Rich people are rich because they give. That is what I taught her then. Rich people are rich because they give. So then why are poor people poor? Have you ever seen a poor man come and say, I've got something, shall I give it to you? When you stop by the traffic lights, have you seen a poor man come and say, they knock on the window, no, the shutter, you lower it, and he says, Madam, I have 500 rupees, would you like it? Is that what you've heard? No, what do? They ask. They beg. And that is why they're poor. That is why they will always be poor. Because what they have is a poor man's mindset. A poor man's mindset soon enough bring a poor man's pocket. A rich man's mindset will soon enough bring a rich man's pocket. If you are rich today it is because you have a rich mindset. That is because you give. If you are rich, you know you give. Not just money. Money is just one way one could be rich. What do you think I am, rich or poor? I don't have a cent to my name though. I am rich in whatever I give. That is what I am rich in. You will be rich in whatever you give. So in whichever way you are rich today, in that way you have what? Given. Yes or no? If you feel loved, ladies, gentlemen, if you feel loved, if you feel rich in love, I'm always so loved by my family, by my friends, everyone just, they dote on me, they care about me so much. Ask yourself, is that not what you give to others all the time? Don't people feel it's just, such a blessing to be around people like you because they feel so loved and so cared for? If you are rich in health, that is what you give to others. Perhaps that is what you give to others by example. Because giving doesn't have to necessarily mean extending your hand and say, take it. Doesn't have to be like that. I'm talking about a mindset. You can give by example. You can give by advice. Can't you? What matters is not how big or how small. It is the intention that matters. So this is another philosophy for life then. Whatever you want in life, give it. But I know you have a problem now. But, Swami Manasi, how can I give what I don't have in the first place? Swami Manasi, I'm poor. I struggle to make ends meet. I struggle to keep the wolf from the door. Swami Manasi, how can I give? I barely make ends meet. How can I give? For that, you've got to read the book called The Richest Man in Babylon. I didn't fall from the sky, ladies and gentlemen. I came on a journey. That is why I stopped when I found the destination. I have read all those books. I have listened to all those speakers. I have been to the conferences and the seminars. I have listened to the successful people in life. I have listened to all the motivational speakers. You name them, I can tell you exactly what they said. I was someone who wanted to become successful and reach the pinnacle of success in my life. By 40, I had retirement in my mind. You know this. In The Richest Man in Babylon, they say 10% of whatever you earn, charity. So if all you earn is 10 rupees, that is all you have to your name. Don't spend 11. Most people are poor because they spend money that they don't have to buy things they don't want, to impress people they don't know. Agreed? What a broken philosophy. So you end up with broken lives. If you take for a moment and think about the things you have at home now that you really have never used since you bought it, perhaps even with money that you didn't have, to impress someone that you didn't even like. But things can change. We're here to change, aren't we? Are you here because you know you're right? Or are you here because I may know a thing or two, Swami knows, but there are a few things in life where I think I've gotten wrong? Is that why you're here? Hopefully for the latter. That is why I'm always with my teacher at his feet. I'm very wary that I might make mistakes, because I'm not the perfect one. There's only one perfect one. So I am imperfect. That is my middle name. So a good philosophy for life. Whatever you want, be someone who gives it. If you have little, give that little. Why do I go on that alms round? You've got to ask. You've got to think about it. I don't come to you because you have. You don't just have the means, but you also have the means to give. If you choose, you could go to the temple of your choice, maybe not just in Sri Lanka. If you wanted, you could travel to the other side of the world and give an almsgiving to the biggest temple in the world somewhere. If you wanted, you could do that. But what about the poor people who live in the shanties? They can't even pay the bus fare to get to the temple. So I go to them because they can't come to me. You don't come to me on Saturday, so I come to you on Sunday. Until you realize that trip is worth making. No rush. Take our time. You see these 5 fingers? One day the thumb thought, I should go reach the middle finger. So he prepared himself and he set a foot. He moved a step forward. He said, oh, you've moved as well. Let me try again. He moved another step forward. Trust me, I'm just moving my thumb. I'm not intentionally moving any of the other fingers. I'm just moving my thumb. Can you believe me as I say so? Please, yeah? Let's move the thumb one step further. This guy is trying to reach this guy. When do you think that's going to happen? Not in this eon. So for any hope for this guy to ever come into contact with this guy, there's only one thing that can happen. What do you think that is? He has to come down to his level. This is what all great people do. They come down because they know where they've been. They know where they were. And they know that all they're doing is doing what others did for them. That is how the world works. If you are a teacher in a classroom teaching your students, do you expect them to understand everything you do, or do you break it down and simplify it so that you go down to their level and teach them until step by step, day by day, year by year, they come up to your level? That's what you do, right? Mahatma Gandhi once said, the measure of greatness of a society can be seen in how they care for the most vulnerable. This is what's happening. This guy is the most vulnerable, deprived, underprivileged, challenged. See? Who comes down the furthest? Who has to come down the furthest? Little finger, index finger, ring finger, or the middle finger? That's why it's the tallest. That's why he's the tallest. He's willing to come down and bend down the furthest. That's why he's the tallest. Just look at your palm, you'll learn a lot of lessons. This is the palmistry that I teach. I don't know the science behind the lines on your hands. I don't know that science, but I know this science. Life has so many lessons to teach us if only we are willing to learn. As they say, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. From where? He was always there. Parents, do you think you should have sent your children to a tuition class this morning, or what do you think? Or perhaps, what do you think? Waste of time here, or maybe they should have been in science class today? These are the things that will help them become great men and women. Because this changes the way you think, which in turn changes your behaviors. It influences your habits. What makes a great man? It's the habits. Not of big things done one day, little things done every day. If you've become successful in life, it's because you did little things every day consistently. There's something called the compound effect. Even Nibbana, do it little by little. You might think, aren't we too old, Swaminas? Have we got the time to be doing it little by little? Better done do little and achieve something than try and do it all and achieve nothing. For as long as you're here, I promise, I will do my part to help you walk this path. That is a promise I give you. For as long as you're here, I will do that. Whether you're old or you're young, don't you worry. Yesterday morning's sermon, we talked a lot about the environment in which you need to find yourselves in. Environment is everything. If you're in the right environment, all of the factors that you need will bring you there. You see where you are today right now. You're in the presence of noble friends who've come here with one purpose. When they are here, they're not going to talk to you about what you did, where you went out last night, what happened at the party. They're not going to ask you those things. Because here you're in noble companionship. This environment will help you one step at a time to change your thinking patterns. As I said, Nibbana is an attitude. When you attain Nibbana, ladies and gentlemen, nothing in the world will change. All that will have changed is you. When you change, the whole world changes. That is why it's called insight. Initially, you just open your eyes and you look, and that is sight. But when you open your wisdom eye, you can look within, and you see it through insight. So allow the transformation to happen. Let it take its course. Let's not rush, but there is one thing you have to do. Bring yourself here. That, of course, I can't do. I've come that far. You can come this far, can't you? So that is why I have a lot of respect. When everything was fighting against her, she's decided to come here today. Perhaps there was on one occasion she thought, should I with this? What will people think? What's easy to do is easy not to do. That's why many people don't do it. What's easy to do is easy not to do. It's easy to adopt the good habits, but it's easy not to. But the good lady has decided to come here today, so I have a duty now to fulfill. I want you to be able to live full lives, rich in whatever you fancy. If you take these principles, ladies and gentlemen, you can be rich in whatever you fancy. If it's Nibbana you decide to seek one day, then that you will be rich in. If it's not Nibbana you're interested in just now, whatever you decide to be rich in, if you apply these principles, you will be rich. That can be wealth, that can be health. If it's Nibbana, when it eventually you feel, yep, you know what, I think it's time I started working on my Nibbana. If you apply these principles, you will attain Nibbana.
Thank you for joining us on The Art of Being Happy from Jethavanarama Buddhist Monastery. May today's wisdom bring you peace and joy in your daily life. We'd love to hear how these talks have touched your life. Share your experiences with us on +91 6361 803371. Until next time, may you find happiness in each present moment. Brought to you by Sanathana Vani, the voice eternal.